InvestorIdeas.com podcast.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of InvestorIdeas.com podcasts. In today's podcast, we're going to be looking at a few public company announcements from Green Thumb Industries Incorporated, trading on the CSE as GTII and the OTCQX as GTBIF. 1933 Industries Incorporated, trading on the CSE as TGIF and the OTCQX as TGIFF. Eve & Co. Incorporated, trading on the TSX Venture as Eve and the OTCQX as EEVVF, as well as Inner Spirit Holdings Limited, trading on the CSE as ISH. So first, starting with Green Thumb Industries Incorporated, a leading national cannabis consumer packaged goods company and owner of Rise and Essence retail stores, and Cookies, a leading North American cannabis lifestyle brand, today announced an exclusive partnership to open Cookies on the Strip in Las Vegas, the first Cookies store in Nevada. Now, Cookies on the Strip will sell the acclaimed portfolio of Cookies, Lemonade, Runts, Mints, Collins, Avron, The Jewels, and Grand Flora products in the brand's signature retail environment, and is expected to open in the first quarter of 2021, subject to customary regulatory approvals. Now, based in the Bay Area, Cookies founder and CEO Berner is a prolific rapper and entrepreneur, along with his partner Jay, and highly respected cannabis cultivator and breeder. We've been working on Las Vegas for a long time. We want to do it right, which is why we chose to partner with Green Thumb, said Cookies founder and Chief Executive Officer Berner. Everybody comes to Vegas, whether it's for a wedding, bachelor or bachelorette party, birthday, anniversary, or just to celebrate in general. Vegas is always focused on spoiling the visitor with five-star restaurants, hotels, and entertainment, and with a store right on the Strip and our cultivation partners dialed in, as well as an exclusive five-star menu dedicated just to the Nevada market, we're more than ready for Vegas. It won't be hard for us to find either, and we have a very special design for our store. Now, the Essence and Rise retail locations in Las Vegas, Henderson, Spanish Springs, and Carson City will also offer Cookies products, including popular favorites such as London Pound Cake 75, Gary Payton, and Cereal Milk. Now, Green Thumb founder and Chief Executive Officer Ben Kovler said, "We have long believed the cannabis brands that offer the consistent and authentic customer experience is key to winning in the industry, and Berner has created a phenomenal brand with a loyal following. This partnership allows us to explore bringing the unique Cookies experience to market in a must-visit destination to Las Vegas visitors and residents." Now, the Essence store located at 2308 South Las Vegas Boulevard will be rebranded to Cookies on the Strip, and the store will remain open during the transition. Green Thumb currently owns and operates 7 stores in the state, 5 of which are in Las Vegas area, and manufactures and distributes its branded products including Cannabinoids, Dog Walkers, Incredibles, and Rhythm in Nevada. And the company has licenses to open 6 more retail stores in the states. Las Vegas remains an exciting growth opportunity for our businesses with ongoing strong demand for cannabis products, Culver noted. This is a unique opportunity to collaborate with Berner and his visionary team in one of the most popular tourist spots in the world. So obviously I talked about the Nevada market a little bit yesterday and how that is starting to restabilize, and you're starting to see sales boom. And again, you are starting to see expansion return to that side of the industry again. Continuing along with that thought, 1933 Industries also announced the addition of top 5 brand 5-star extracts to its select roster of licensed partners in Nevada. Now, the company's subsidiary, Alternative Medicine Association, signed a licensing agreement with California-based 5-Star Group LLC for the cultivation, manufacture, and sale of 5-star extracts branded products in Nevada for a 1-year term. Now, the company's newest partnership reaffirms AMA's position as a top producer of cannabis concentrates in Nevada, and AMA's experience in the field has been developed over several years as one of the first cultivation and production licenses in the state. AMA will manufacture 5-star products, including its exclusive flavored double shot line and flavored cannabis tinctures, and under the licensing agreement, AMA will manufacture, distribute, and sell the licensed products, ensuring the compliance with Nevada regulations, as well as third-party laboratory testing and certification. 5-star extracts are some of the highest quality THC products on the market right now, and 5-star follows strict proprietary extraction procedures to achieve clarity and potency for a smooth cannabis product that stands above the rest. We're excited to work with a team who shares the same high standards, passion, and pride for crafting top quality cannabis products, stated Mr. Jordan Strom, the Director of Sales for 1933 Industries brands and brand partners. 5-Star brings a differentiated approach to their product offerings with an innovative suite of products that are easy to consume, discreet, and can be taken on the go. The double shot line is also a fast-acting beverage containing 20 milligrams of THC in a variety of flavors, and their cannabis-infused tincture beverage enhances the mix and match flavors are unique to the brand offerings, and they're excited to assist 5-Star grow its brand in Nevada. So really two of almost the exact same type of stories there. Obviously, with Green Thumb Industries more focused on the retail side, 1933 Industries more focused on being brands, both of them partnering with different brand companies to bring their products to market in the Nevada cannabis sector. And again, it does obviously seem to hear and see more of this news. These aren't the only companies in Nevada that are having this type of news come out over the last couple of weeks, but that's very reassuring for the Nevada market right now that it is starting to restabilize. You're starting to see sales grow again. I think a lot of the companies that are in the retail sector within that space over the last couple of months have seen a huge boom in sales and are now starting to have the revenue return again so they can start focusing on expansion as well as bringing in new brands and new products into that market. And obviously, that's going to continue to be one of the great testing markets for new brands and products. I've mentioned that before, that Nevada obviously stands apart in that it is this massive global international tourist destination. So great place to market test new edibles, new 2.0 type of products, and see how they are actually accepted by different consumers. And then you can start launching that a lot easier in other states or into the Canadian market or other international markets. So great way to build brand awareness and then also not have to put the pressure on of massive expansion of those brands within the state or within the market you're in. Being on really one or two retail stores on the strip, you can serve thousands of customers and still have a very concrete understanding of how your product is doing and which demographics you should be aiming for in the future. Next, looking at Eve & Co. Incorporated, who announced its wholly owned subsidiary Natural Med Co. Limited has signed a supply agreement with Colio Estate Wines, one of Canada's leading wineries and the company behind the top-selling domestic flavored wine beverage brand Girls Night Out, on August 5th. Now, the supply agreement contemplates developing a premium cannabis-infused wine-based beverage for distribution by Eve & Co. and licensing for the Girls Night Out brand. Now, the term of the license agreement is for an initial 3-year period with a 2-year option in favor of NMC and contemplates licensing royalties for the cannabis-infused beverage to enter the adult use market in 2020. We're very excited to be working with Colio and the tremendous team behind the Girls Night Out brand. The combination of Colio's expertise with a high-quality cannabis extract allows us to provide consumers with a new cannabis-infused beverage which aligns with our female-oriented vision, said Melinda Robouts, the president and chief executive officer of Eve & Co. Now, Jim Clark, president and CEO of Colio, noted that Colio is delighted to be working with Eve & Co. to produce a new cannabis-infused beverage that builds on the success of the Girls Night Out brand and satisfying taste and palates of female wine aficionados or connoisseurs. This is a segment of the industry that's definitely been picking up traction on and off for the last year, which is focusing on these cannabis-infused beverages, specifically with wineries. Again, obviously, there's tons of partnerships you can look at for examples within the industry, large ones and small ones. So far, this hasn't really yielded any fruit. You haven't really seen any of these products come to market. And within the Canadian market, I don't expect these products to come out at least for another couple of years due to the regulations surrounding the very specific designs of your packaging as well as the lack of connection you can have to any alcohol marketing. So to produce a beverage within the Canadian market right now, you can't have it connected even with brand names or with even the wording of beer or wine, connecting that to your cannabis infused product because they don't want to mix those two industries of alcohol and cannabis. Within the States, there are some examples of this, of cannabis infused beers, of cannabis infused wines. They haven't done very well. They're more of a gimmick product at this point, and you're not seeing any sort of mass adoption or consistency with those. And there's still going to be a lot of work to be done as far as the actual product development goes to get any of these products to be worthwhile for either a person who enjoys wine or beer or a person who enjoys cannabis. Right now, you're kind of half-assing it to both demographics. And again, it's more of a gimmick product that people will try a couple times but aren't consistently going to be using. And again, I do think that for them to specifically aim for Canada over the next few months or in this year, it's very optimistic and probably not realistic, mainly because, again, there's a lot of difficulties when it comes to bringing these beverages to market. Otherwise, we would see a lot more of these beverages out there right now. And you see a very, very limited amount of SKUs within the Canadian market. The US market has obviously expanded a lot more dramatically within California and Nevada. There's tons of beverages out there, but even they are struggling to, again, maintain consistency, really build brand awareness, and really corner any segment of the cannabis market. They still represent such a small amount of the total sales and they really haven't impacted that much. Shatter obviously has impacted things a lot. Pre-rolls have impacted things a lot. Edibles, topicals are really starting to pick up traction, but beverages still remain somewhat distant. So I would be wary of any company that's focusing too hard on the beverage sector unless they can actually get their product to market in time, which none of them seem able to do. Lastly, looking at Inner Spirit Holdings Limited, who announced today additional Spirit Leaf store openings and the continued expansion of its retail cannabis store network in Alberta and Ontario. And the company also announced it surpassed the 1 million customers served milestone for 2020 during the month of July, and it recorded its highest ever monthly customer count in July, as well as with over 205,000 guests served. We're very pleased to continue our expansion of the Spirit Leaf brand in additional communities. We have aggressive growth plans and we're staying focused on adding outlets to serve more Canadians. We have numerous franchise partners either working through licensing or constructing their stores at this time, and our franchise model is extremely effective as we partner with local entrepreneurs and enable them to invest their capital, share their passion and their knowledge of cannabis with customers, and contribute to the success of the Spirit Leaf brand. Now, we're proud of every single customer we've served this year, as that reflects the care and attention we bring to the shopping experience at our stores for new visitors, as well as our loyal repeat customers, said Darren Barunda, Darren Bondar, the president and CEO of Inner Spirit Holdings. Now, the company celebrated the opening of its 55th Spirit Leaf location in July 24th with a franchise store in Calgary, and the company also franchised locations in Fish Creek Village in Calgary, fully built and awaiting final licensing, and has conditionally secured 5 additional franchise locations in Calgary and 2 additional corporate store locations in Edmonton in anticipation of the Alberta Gaming Liquor and Cannabis increasing the licensing gap to over 45 permitted stores per operator this fall. Now, in Ontario, Spirit Leaf franchise stores opened in the suburban community of Stittsville near Ottawa on July 25th and in London's Masonville neighborhood on July 27th. Now, a corporately owned store in Neepan, just received of South Ottawa, opened on July 29th, bringing the total number of Spirit Leaf stores operating to 58. And the store follow-on Spirit Leaf stores is Toronto, Ottawa, Guelph, and Kingston. And in total, the company has 9 Spirit Leaf stores serving customers in Canada's most populous province and additional 17 locations under various phases of development. Now, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all Spirit Leaf stores are operating with enhanced customer service processes to ensure the safety and employees of customers, and Spirit Leaf Select and Collect service enables customers to pre-shop and order online prior to pickup. And customers can also connect with their local Spirit Leaf store through the Spirit Leaf Collective Customer Benefits Program to further streamline and individualize the shopping experience. And the fast-growing Collective program now has over 85,000 members. And to acknowledge the support of these members, the company has been running a virtual Spirit Bus tour across Canada this summer to spread peace, love, and harmony. The tour is making stops at each Spirit Leaf store, with Spirit Leaf Collective members can access exclusive promotions and special edition festival swag. And bus tickets are available in the store or by email or text, and the Collective members have no purchases required. And you can check out spiritbustour.ca for tour dates and details. You can also check out innerspiritholdings.com/invest for more information and some of the video interviews with Darren Bondar, the CEO. So Spirit Leaf Holdings expanding into Calgary and Ontario. One of the things you can notice, I've obviously talked about the Canadian retail a couple of different times. There's a few key players within that space. They are now starting to, at least for Spirit Leaf specifically, now starting to catch up with some of the other retail companies in Canada as well. They've now established that inner customer, basically asset program where you can now have more customization for customers who are members, and as well as points and perk systems. This is very similar to the High Fire system from Fire and Flower Corporation, obviously with tons of differences, but a similar type of aspect to the industry. Fire and Flower still remains sort of the head of the retail as far as technology and innovation within Canada, but you are starting to now see that these other companies have been forced to adapt with COVID-19 and are now starting to catch on to what they need to do to establish themselves properly within the Canadian market. One of the other things to note there is focusing on major cities finally, which has been a big aspect of the Canadian retail debacle, which is a lot of the licenses for smaller towns that have very, very, very low populations have been granting licenses like crazy. Some towns that have less than 200,000 people have up to 8 or 9 cannabis dispensaries, whereas towns in major cities that have massive populations have only sometimes 4 or 5 dispensaries to serve a metropolitan city. Looking at Vancouver, Ontario, BC is still the furthest behind, but even Ontario has only slowly started to catch up. And even still, most of the licensing is going to outer suburbs as opposed to the inner city. Again, Toronto, you're not seeing a ton of cannabis dispensaries. Same thing with Ottawa. But that does seem to be changing now, and it looks like you're starting to see more of these licenses move towards metropolitan cities, which makes a lot more sense as opposed to, again, having these overburdened licenses in these local rural areas. That is going to be an impact for a lot of these companies eventually. As for right now, a lot of people are actually going outside of the city to get their cannabis from these smaller suburban dispensaries. And that'll obviously change once accessibility is more, there's more access in the actual inner city. I think that then you're going to start to see a lot of these smaller retail outlets that are in these suburban areas and on the sort of fringes of cities start to collapse. That is a big issue that a lot of these retailers are looking at right now, in that there is somewhat of an over licensing in some sections of Canada and an under licensing in the other sections. And it doesn't seem to be evening out at any point soon. And it looks like some of the companies will be heavily impacted by that. But it definitely seems like Spirit Leaf has adapted well to this new retail environment and does seem to be advancing as far as moving into the right cities, moving into the right neighborhoods, and again, adapting their business properly to this environment. That's all for today's podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day. That's all for today's podcast. Podcast is now a certified word trademark on the blockchain through Cognate Incorporated CM certification. InvestorIdeas.com podcasts are also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and TuneIn. If you'd like to be a guest or sponsor of this podcast, please contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded that all investments involve risk and possible loss of investment. Investor Ideas does not condone the use of cannabis except where permissible by law. Our site does not possess, distribute, or sell cannabis products.